We believe is outside the White House right now. Hey, Sarah, good morning to you.
Good morning.
Good morning. Speaking of weather, it's another beautiful day here behind me. So.
Absolutely. Okay, so the president is making his final pitch. You know, conventional wisdom was in the beginning it was going to be all about the economy. And now it's about the economy and Kavanaugh and health care and the caravan, right?
It's about a lot of things because the president's addressing a number of issues. The economy is booming, but unfortunately the media and the Democrats, they're never going to want to talk about that because everything they said couldn't happen in regards to the economy under this president is happening. The stock market is booming. Jobs are on the rise. Wages are on the rise. Every sector of the economy is doing better under this president than it has in decades, and that's due to the leadership that he's put forward, whether it's on tax cuts, deregulation, and just creating an environment that is pro-growth, something that we haven't seen in a long time. But at the same time, we have a huge problem on our border, and the president's very good at doing more than one thing at one time, which is why he's dealing with a number of issues, including dealing with a crisis on the border and helping stop people from illegally coming into this country and securing the border.
We've heard folks say if the Democrats take the House, it's going to be investigation after investigation. Some are predicting that. What are your predictions? If the Democrats win the House, what are folks in the White House talking about?
Look, I still hope that Republicans win the House, but if they don't, I think that what you've seen the Democrats start talking about is the only message they have, and that's one of obstruction. They have no policies. They have no solutions. America's got some real problems that we have to deal with, and it's another reason that when people are going to the ballot boxes tomorrow, they need to look what type of America they want to have. One of a party that has solutions, somebody that's leading, or a group that only wants to obstruct and tear people down, which is exactly what you're seeing come out of the Democrats right now.
So last night, Axios does a sit-down earlier this week, but they aired it last night, and one question was the Justice Department was arguing in court that would strike down the Affordable Care Act individual mandate, toss out its protections for people with pre-existing conditions. The president said he wasn't aware of this. Is the Justice Department acting without the president's knowledge?
Look, they have to do some things that are independent. However, the president's been clear. Whatever policy he puts forth on health care, it will protect pre-existing conditions. There are some people out there in the country that want to tell you a different story, but at the end of the day, the president's going to do what is necessary to protect people with pre-existing conditions, but also create a health care system that actually works, that actually functions, that has competition, that creates an environment where people get the type of health care that they need, not just a card that says that they have health insurance. Those are two very different things, and this president wants to make sure people have actual health care, not just health insurance.
Sure. Sarah, Obamacare wasn't working to the point where President Obama didn't even run for re-election on Obamacare, not even in the midterms. Are you astounded that now people are running on Obamacare? It was one of the most unpopular pieces of legislation ever introduced.
I think it goes back to the fact that Democrats literally have no message. They have no solutions. If people want to move forward, that's under President Trump and under his administration and under a Congress that he's helping go out and campaign for and get elected. If people want to go backwards, then that's the only message they have, and they certainly have that opportunity. But I don't think that's what America wants. I think they love where we are. They love the idea that President Trump has rebuilt the economy and it's booming like never before. They love the idea that he's remade the judiciary. They love the idea that ISIS is on the run. They love the idea that he's securing the border, and they want to see more of that, and I think that's what we're going to see reflected on Tuesday.
Let's take a look at a brand new Washington Post ABC poll. It's about the economy under the president. 65% of those who responded say it is good or excellent, as we look at that graphic right over there. When people say, I've heard the president say, look, I'm not on the ballot, but just imagine I am. This really is kind of a referendum on the president, isn't it?
I don't know if it's a referendum on him, but I certainly think that you're going to see supporters galvanized because of him. Certainly, we've seen that as he's traveled around the country, unprecedented numbers turning out for somebody who's not on the ballot. The type of energy and enthusiasm that we've seen day in, day out over the last probably 6 to 8 weeks is something I've never seen before, certainly not in a midterm election for any president at any point.
Yeah, if you look at 250,000 jobs added, unemployment at a 49-year low, wage growth fastest since 2009, 32,000 manufacturing jobs added in October. So yes, and all of us, if we look at our 401ks, they've done better. Let's talk about the immigration issue. Migrant caravans, they're coming toward the United States. We're hearing numbers up to 12,000 people now. We know that the president is sending troops down there. What is he doing, or how are they preparing for these migrants that are walking toward the United States?
Look, the president's ultimate goal is to protect our borders and protect American citizens. That's the #1 job of the president of the United States, and it's one that this president actually takes seriously, something we haven't seen in the past. The president is going to make sure that we do what's necessary to protect our borders, to secure our borders, and we hope that we have a Congress that after Tuesday will be willing to work with us to fix some of the loopholes that have created this incredible crisis in a totally broken system. We've got to make some real changes, and hopefully with the president's leadership we'll be able to do that.
All right, let's talk about Iran, because this is something that, aside from the elections, people really should be talking about. The president said and the Secretary of State says that the toughest sanctions ever are going to be instituted against Iran to try to curtail their oil production and try to shut down industry from flourishing, which might have been taking place since the Iran deal was signed in, and now it was ripped up. What is your response to the 8 nations that got exemptions so they can still sell goods and oil to Iran?
Look, like the Secretary of State said, these are some of the toughest sanctions that have been imposed. We're going to continue to put pressure on Iran until we see that they're actually changing their behavior. We haven't seen that in the past, and that's got to take place before any of the pressure is let up, and we're going to continue putting it on, and we're going to make sure we're putting it where it hurts, in these financial sectors, in the oil industry. This is where they feel it, and that's exactly why these sanctions have been targeted in those places.
Hey, Sarah, before you go, tell us a little bit about the rallies the president's going to be doing throughout the day. I understand the last one culminates with Rush Limbaugh on stage in Rush Limbaugh's hometown of Cape Girardeau.
The president's got another packed day. Nobody has worked harder, particularly when their name is not on the ballot, than President Trump has. But he's not just doing it at these rallies. He's been doing it every single day by impacting good policy and making our country better. You can see that in every single thing he has done, whether it's growing the economy, which he's put such an emphasis on, whether it's securing the border.
Right.
And you're going to see him talk about some of those things tonight, lay out some of that final contrast and closing message. And I think we're going to see all of that pay off.
All right, very good. You got a busy 48 hours. Siri Huckabee Sanders, we thank you very much for joining us live.
Thanks so much for having me.
All right.